Tonight's forecast calls for heavy rainfall. This intense thunderstorm will surely require—
Wrong, lady! Tonight's broadcast calls for heavy pizza! Crap, now my favorite radio has been demolished! Damn you, evil weather lady! Damn you to hell for making me smash my favorite audio player device thingamabob! This, my dear viewer, calls for an expedition! I must scour the streets of this desolate city to find a new radio. Now, time to fly! Okay, if my calculations are correct, the radio store should be just up ahead. Alas, I never sleep, so naturally, neither does crime.
Shut it, girlie.
Help me!
I said keep it quiet.
Halt right there, criminal scum!
Hey, you wanna get any closer, freak? Cut her if you do.
Shit, he's got her at knife point. Wait. Are you seriously holding someone at knife point?
Yeah, what about it, huh?
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Viewers, has something like this ever happened to you? Ever try to hold someone up, but all you got is a dinky little kitchen utensil?
What the hell are you talking about?
Instead, you could have something like this.
Oh, what the hell? You're crazy!
See? Immediately much more of an intimidation factor. On top of all of that, the effects are much more devastating as well. As you'll see in a second, the bill is composed of freak-off special formula that enters the bloodstream at an alarming rate, which leads to melting skin, popping eyes, and eventually fatal results if not immediately treated. So what do you say, pal? Interested in buying? Hello? Hello?
Oh my god! Oh Jesus, you killed him!
Oh yeah, you're welcome!
Get away from me!
Jeez, ever try to thank you? And after all that adventuring and still no radio. Oh, hey there. That guy's down there if you want to take him.
Ah, yeah. Thanks, man.
No problem. Courtesy of an old former Showerhead Mafia member.
Thanks. Hey, wait a minute. Did you just say Showerhead Mafia?
Yes, I did! Oh my god, you must be a fan! Do you want my autograph?
Yeah, sure.
Jackson?
Yeah?
Someone's outside.
Oh, really? Who? Oh, great.
Come on, Mr. Famous YouTuber. I know you and that angel freak are in there.
What do you want to do?
I don't know, he's just standing there.
Yeah, freaky.
What's the matter? Scared? Look, if I wanted to fight, I'd just break down the door and drag both of you losers out kicking and screaming. But a one-sided fight like that sounds boring, so I figured we'd just talk.
You mean like how we literally beat you last time?
Tisk, tisk. Excuses, excuses. You're just not man enough to come out here and talk to me. You'll talk about those video games for hours and hours, but you can't even handle a real conversation. I mean, come on. It's really pathetic.
He's just gonna keep going on if we don't go out there.
Yeah, you're right. Let's at least see what he has to say.
Finally.
What do you want?
Listen, you and your friend are really starting to test my patience. I'm just about ready to take what I want by force. But since I'm such a nice guy, I'm gonna give you one last chance.
Last chance to do what?
Give up your memories and come with me.
Or what?
Ah, perfect timing.
Boss, I got one. Bringing him down now.
Good. Leave him in the pit for me. I've got some blackmailing to get to.
What are you doing? What is that?
Oh, just one of your friends from the other side.
No!
Not so fast, old man. Not so easy the second time around, huh? Turns out when you train against giant creatures, normal humans just can't really hurt you all that much anymore. What's the matter? No yellow around to help you? No.
I'm trying to stay sober.
Well, isn't that just sweet?
Mission successful. Target secure in the pit.
Great work. Sorry, Helmet Boy, but now it looks like you're just too late.
Get off me!
Have I made my point clear yet? Give up and come with me. Otherwise, that's gonna happen to every single one of your little friends.
No! As hard as it's been going back through all of this, I made too much progress to just look the other way again.
Yeah? How much do you even know? How much has he told you?
I know enough. I know about the suicide, the drugs.
You think... you think that's all of it?
No.
You still don't know anything.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Why are you even trying to stop me? You know, for once, I'm trying to actually make progress. Now you want to stop me? I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to go somewhere better.
What? You're talking about heaven? Hey, pop quiz, twerp. How are they gonna let you in if you're just half a man? Literally. Yeah. Bet your friend didn't tell you about that, huh?
If that's really the case, then why not join us? I can get us somewhere better. I can save us.
That's funny.
What? What's funny?
You think I want to be saved?
Why wouldn't you be?
Man, you really don't know anything.
And you do! You know, we just had someone in the cafe who thought they didn't deserve to be saved.
You did something right. You poured your heart into this.
Giving up is the only reason this thing even fucking exists. Complimenting it isn't gonna make me feel any better.
I think sharing your pain is glory, and you do deserve to feel proud of yourself for that. I really don't know how much that means coming from me, but...
No, it does. It does mean something to me. I tried to put my pain into art. You knew it so well by just listening to it.
Of course I did. Why do you think I still do any of this? That's the whole point. It always has been.
I bet I can do the same thing with you, and I can do the same with any of my friends you try to drag down here. So if you think I'm doing this without a fight, you're wrong.
Fine. I should have expected you not to listen to me like usual. Well, that's all I got. Give me a ring when you're willing to negotiate.
What just happened?
I think we just lost.
Alright, he's intact like you asked. Should have retained most of his memories since he was taken prematurely and not by natural causes or circumstances. His body is still mostly alive back on the other side.
Great work. Let me check him real quick, and then you'll get your little fruit-shaped paycheck.
What the heckity frickety gosh darn fuck?
Wake up, Mr. Gas Mask.
Fine. Wait, am I being tied up? There's dark people in cloaks? Menacing red guy in the middle? Am I being held for ransom?
Yeah?
Yes!
What?
I've always wanted to be kidnapped by an evil supervillain. Oh, wait. You have no idea how boring this vigilante stuff has been without a proper nemesis.
What the?
On with your dastardly plans, villain. Interrogate me for all I know. I shall not give even the smallest morsel of information to you, Mr. Can't really read what the logo on your shirt. Is that like a sideways 7 or something?
This guy's even more annoying than me. Listen to me, kid. You're squishy. Just like the rest of us tortured souls down here in hell. You're not the hero of this story. You don't even have what it takes to be my nemesis. You're just a means to an end, if anything. Cry out for mommy all you want. Nobody can hear you down here. In hell! Was that good? Did I do it like her?
Honestly, I don't care. I'm just waiting for you to give me my payment.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was good.
Oh, yeah, well, there's more where that came from.
Oh, yeah, do your worst.
I bet. Tell me where the other members of SHM are.
SHM? Dude, you're way behind the curve. That group disbanded like months ago.
What?
Well, you see, after one of our members died, our leader Chip went insane. He quit YouTube altogether.
Dead with a video that doesn't explain like why I'm gone or whatever. 2 years ago I created a group called the Shahin Mafia, and I just want to thank those guys.
Shortly after that, he threw death threats against like multiple people in our group, and he said he was gonna go on a killing rampage with him offing himself. He even smeared Smucker's strawberry sundae topping all over himself and threatened us with a knife on camera.
Oh wow, that is crazy. Well, anyways, what happened after that?
And then we started this new group called Content Cartel. Now remember, there was a square guy, a green and blue man with a mask.
As fun as it is tossing Helmet Boy and Holehead around, it'd be nice to have a way of doing this with minimal interference. Plus, chances are, those other members won't be as gullible as you.
Hey, what do you mean, gullible?
Dude, you just spilled the beans on, like, your entire operation. I know almost everything about your group now.
Damn. Foiled again by the master manipulation of my new arch nemesis.
No, you're just an idiot, and I'm still not your nemesis.
Well, now you're just hurting my feelings. I'll tell you, I might not be book smart, but I'm no slouch. I bet I could come up with a better evil scheme than you.
Oh yeah? What would you do then?
Okay, so you mentioned some Helmet Boy, right? Well, my memory's a little shaky right now, but I do remember some sort of helmet guy being part of that SHM group you mentioned.
Okay, go on.
So I'm guessing you're trying to get the helmet guy's friends, right? That's why you're targeting us?
Yeah?
Okay, so why not impersonate the helmet guy? Pretend to be him and trick all of his friends. If you look similar enough to him, all it would need is a small change of the wardrobe, maybe changing up your voice a bit.
That's actually not a bad idea. He's ruined my reputation by pretending to be me before, too. I might as well give him a taste of his own medicine while I take his friends hostage.
Yeah, so that's the revenge angle covered too. See, what did I tell you? Perfect evil conniving scheme. Who's the idiot now?
Still you. You just told me how to capture all your friends. Nice going, kid.
Well, checkmate, because now I know your evil plan. Hey, wait, where are you going? Where are you going?
To write a script. Thing is, I can't write for shit, and I kinda need to do that to pretend to be him. I'm gonna make a ritual sacrifice so I can get something that sounds like him. You're gonna be my test subject to see if it works out well. Let's see here. Pentagram. Dead author's pen. And an amputated hand. Whatever. Now, what does that loser like to talk about? Oh, I got it. Write me a bomber script about the most recent XX Funeral album. Yeah, here we go.
You okay, dude?
Yeah, it's just, I just saved someone, and now it's like, failed to do it again. Well, what do we even do at this point?
You do what you always done. Show must go on. You might not be able to save that one person just yet, but maybe we can save a little part of yourself first.
Alright. What's 800 points uploaded recently?
Remorse is a 2023 album created by XX Funeral. Funeral himself is an artist that warrants next to no introduction at this point, as I've extensively covered both of his previous albums on the channel, those albums being Sicario and Eviscerated. Man, this is so weird. I know technically I did make those videos, but I didn't write them. It's like I'm talking about myself in the third person or something. Anyways, Remorse had a lot riding on it for me personally. All the trailers and snippets that came out leading up up to its eventual release showcased a really unique and standout sound, along with a more vulnerable and dark tone permeating the lyrics and instrumental soundscapes of the album. It felt like Funeral was trying to go back to a more ambitious and artistically driven piece like Superplastic, while incorporating the new techniques and elements he developed during his time with the more trap-oriented and opium-esque inspired sounds of albums like Eviscerated. On the SoundCloud description for the page, it's described how he, quote, made the album while going through a very bad anxiety and depression, so please enjoy my paranoia and pain. Happy text face. With a little message at the end saying, P.S. I am good now. Love you guys. Yeah, how cute. Anyways, I think that's good enough for an intro, right? Any dorks watching this probably got their fill on the juicy behind-the-scenes details, so let's just move on to the songs themselves. I want to get into the real shit already.
I done fell in love with it, cost and it's too late now. I up and it come, let the night go as I cut through my throat. When I die, I love, I go, you go. I don't know it, I done fell in love with it, cost and it's too late now. I up and it come, let the night go as I cut through my throat. When I die, I love, I go, you go. I don't know it.
Fell in Love with a Ghost is such a deep cut opener. For starters, the production is really unique. For this album, like I said before, we're mostly ditching the trap influence from the previous two albums and returning to something more akin to the gothic and dark atmospheric tones of Superplastic, with hints of that more trap-oriented style implemented to smooth out the sound of the album. Fell in Love showcases this exceptionally well without front-loading the album, you know, making it blow its load too early. It keeps its hand pretty well hidden, is what I mean. It's just the drums, reverse hi-hats, and the oppressive, swooping, dark bass with some vocal sampling where it's appropriate. I like the main loop for the bass too. The chord progression for the melody just fits the theme so perfectly. Scratches your brain just right when it hits those high notes. Wow, I have no idea what any of this means, but I sound smart as hell reading it, so I'm gonna keep going. When it comes to the lyrics, this song mostly revolves around this idea of being in love with a person and dealing with that haunting what-if scenario if they were to die. In a sense, if you would still be in love with their ghost. The song deals with the heavy contemplation of taking your own life to join back with them. Lines like, I just know I couldn't save you from yourself, now I'm stuck here. The emotions I can't handle, you're the one that I loved here. And I stay isolated, fighting with my mind. I hate it. It's just my life. I'll take it. I can't just stay here.
What is it? Why'd you stop?
The words in these songs they're reminding me of some stuff.
Like what?
I don't know if I could explain it to you.
Well, maybe you should try. Usually when people review things, they add a personal aspect to it.
Well, I used to be in love with a ghost of sorts. Not in the relationship way, but not in the platonic way either. We were one and the same. Shared the same body and mind, so it was like a self-love type of thing, I guess. Does that make sense?
Nah, not at all. But keep going.
Well, he was all white and pale, like a ghost, and didn't spend a lot of time outside unless I helped him. Like I said before, this song explores the idea of losing a loved one, losing someone to care about, and being in love with their ghost. I have someone like that. I have a ghost I'm chasing. Someone I lost. Someone I couldn't save from themselves. And that ghost...
The helmet guy?
Yeah. See?
Now you're starting to catch on. Funeral made this album during a bout of serious seasonal depression. The state of paranoia and struggle he was in inspired him to create the sound in this project, and the hypothetical scenario and caricature extension of himself that the tape revolves around. This is the thesis statement of the entire project as a whole, a tease for the subject matter and the psyche of this character we'll be diving into for the duration of this project. So, on my own end of things, I'll leave that little mystery hanging for you. Just for now. Maybe as we'll go along, I'll tell you a little bit more. It's 800 season again, biatch! I'm a little late, dog, but I don't care. Fenrir dropped on July 21st of 2023, and I'm so excited to finally talk about it. The creative block can suck my dick. It's time for Fenrir.
Oh hey, something I actually know about. Fenrir derives from Norse mythology, a giant, fearsome wolf creature. He's the son of Loki and the giantress Angerboda. Possessing exceedingly superhuman qualities and strength, he presented an ever-present looming threat over the gods that maintain the 9 realms. In response to this looming danger, chief of the gods, Odin himself ordered the dwarves to develop a magic inhibitor in the form of a ribbon called Glenpio, which could never be broken, forever inhibiting the beast and its rage for potentially all of eternity. Oh man, I'm actually excited about this one. I'm eager to see how this new age music you always talk about will portray such a classic and harrowing tale.
It's an album about doing drugs and copious amounts of sex and money.
Oh, well, hey, I'm sure you'll still make it interesting.
Aw, thanks. The last time we covered 800 Points on the show, I went through his previous 3 official EPs, those being Amir Points 1 and 2, as well as 808 Points. I detailed how the journey from Amir Points 1 to 808 Points to Amir Points 2 was a steady inclination of quality. 800 Points has slowly molded his image into a more serious and less lackadaisical meme-oriented presence that's more common in the underground scene. So I'm not fucking around this time. No more silly bombers. We're doing a serious show here. 800 Points is 17 now, okay? He's got his big boy Balenci pants now. He isn't a Roblox enthusiast anymore. That shit I said last time, disregard it. He's also an avid Higurashi and Roblox enthusiast. In fact, 800 Points doesn't even like Roblox. Yeah, that's right. It was actually an elaborate ruse to lower all of your expectations. Oh, and Higurashi? He only watches that for the murder scenes now, because imagine being such a loser that you watch a murder mystery for the plot. What a schmuck you are. You know, the poster we had for the last episode wasn't great at conveying how much of an absolute Chad 800 really is. So this time, we really need something impactful, something edgy, something that really screams the new serious image that 800 is going for now. Perfecto, masterpiece. Anyways, I guess I gotta talk about the songs on the album now. Segue. I guess I could say I'm giving you trust issues as to how well constructed this review will be. Trust issues, like the song.
I still see your face when I go to sleep. Turns up in my drink, swear it help me see. Never bitch, I can't do it, honestly.
If you needed any more proof that 800 can still bring the heat, even without the aid of a mere prod, Trust Issues has got you covered. This track just opens the album up and rolls out the carpet masterfully. A wonderfully composed thesis statement for the sound and general aesthetic feel of the tape. The prod by Martyr is definitely adjacent to the style of a mere prod, but still retains its own unique style and identity. Those slightly offbeat, plucking, distorted strings just really sell that uncomfortable dark atmosphere. The chirpy scattered lead synths just add this otherworldly feeling to the production, with the dark, imposing, and overpowering bass sealing the deal on the track's atmosphere, the cherry on top being those scattered drip-down hi-hats that come in seemingly at random, barely holding together a structural pattern to maintain all the chaos. The moment it kicks in, the first time 800 Points says, "I still see your face," it just hooks you. Feels like the main villain just showed up or some shit. As soon as the lyrics started kicking in, I was acting like a Yeet fan, dog, I swear to God.
It's a fucking hit! Nobody does it better!
Okay, but for real, the vocal side of this track is just insanely well done and impressive, especially considering how unorthodox and experimental that instrumental is. I really want to take a second to appreciate how much time it must have taken to really develop lyrics and flows that naturally work with this beat. The whole sound of the track just feels scattered, like it's barely holding itself together, which is more than appropriate considering the context of the lyrics. I mean, it's not called Trust Issues for nothing. And just sound alone, it perfectly captures that aspect of your confidence and trust taking a serious blow after something traumatic. The lines in the chorus hit particularly hard for me. "I still see your face when I go to sleep. Drugs up in my drink, yeah, they all help me sleep." After me and Red had that falling out, I dove deeper into drugs. I was already doing them beforehand, occasionally smoking and dipping into edibles, sneaking sips of alcohol where I could. This, for me, represents the start of that shift. I'd start using every night to help me sleep, which turned into just getting high every night under the thin veil of that excuse. I won't say too much about that off the bat though, because Fenrir in general reminds me a lot of that time in my life, so I'll get into it more as we go along the track list here. Regardless, the last thing I have to mention with this track is the outro. This breakout ending of drums poises the end of the track with a silver lining, a new sensation brimming in your head. The memories of the pain are still there, hence the familiar melody still being present, but now there's a drive that wasn't there before, the motivation to retaliate, to prove the hurt wrong.
You're scared, aren't you?
Yeah, I've never done anything like this before.
Well, there's a first time for everything, kid.
Kid? Dude, I'm almost 20.
Oh, semantics! Besides, adults are boring anyways. Why is that an insult to you? Why even be fixated on such a useless label?
I don't know.
And you don't even know why! That's the funniest part!
I don't know if this'll make sense, but it feels like there's this voice in my head, this nagging feeling that keeps telling me I need to grow up, that I can't be a kid anymore.
Why?
Because, I don't know, responsibility and junk. Can't just sit around and make YouTube videos and play video games forever.
Why not?
I don't know. I gotta pay taxes or something. Get a better job. Maybe get my license. Finish college.
Why?
Because I have to? I don't know.
Why?
Because we need to be a functional adult. We want to have a future that's stable and makes us happy.
Was I talking to you? Who's this guy supposed to be?
He's like, I don't know, he's like my older brother or something.
You said there was a nagging voice in your head. Is this the same guy?
Jackson, this is dumb. Listen to me. I'm just trying to keep us safe.
Ain't nobody fucking talking to you! Tell Big Brother we're not talking to him right now. Tell him shut his mouth.
But...
What? You think he knows what's best for you?
Jackson, come back here. I'm not gonna let you do anything else to screw over my life.
Really? Your life. Not ours?
I just...
Shut up. Nobody's talking to you.
Excuse me?
Excuse you nothing. I'm done with you trying to control me. It's always been Jackson do this. Jackson don't do that. Well, guess what? I'm tired of all that. I'm not letting you choose for me anymore.
Fine then. Do what you want.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Hey, I just took my first hit. That's a little rough. How long until this stuff kicks in?
I had too many fucking options. I'm lost and I'm found, then I'm lost again. This isn't like the lights I cut me off then.
I've Been Fine is a lot more slow paced than some of the other tracks on the album. The vocals do a lot of the work here too, so naturally I don't have too much to say about the production. It mostly consists of inverted samples and strings. The drums are pretty simple and follow a predictive pattern for each loop, cutting back at just the right moments to enhance the atmosphere of the track. I got the feeling that it's very intentionally minimalist to allow the vocals of this track to really shine. And everything lyrically here has the perfect amount of space. The verses in the beginning flow in so seamlessly, and the progression in their melodies are super fun to follow, and still catchy to sing or hum along to upon re-listening. Same goes for the chorus and post-chorus.
I've been fine, recording my rifle. I breathe in my eyes closed. I breathe and I look in the skies. I've been fine. Recording my rifle, I breathe in my eyes closed. I breathe and I look in the skies where my life goes.
I like that the main chorus is the most melodic and predictable part of the song lyrically. It's like the sound of Izzy's singing represents the peril and turmoil of trying to hold together stability while going through this time. And that coincides with the context of the lyrics as well. He's trying to say he's fine. All he needs is his regret and his rifle. Then, when the post-chorus rolls around, it's like reality comes crashing down and the facade falls away. Lyrics about draining blood slow, about losing hope, looking down at your own scars and wounds and realizing, fuck, I am not okay. Reminds me of how I felt after falling out with bombers. It's like I have too many options. I'm lost, then I'm found, then I'm lost again. I feel like every time I was close to figuring everything out with him, it just fell apart over and over. He'd say to me, this isn't like the last time. And I'd just let him cut me off then. Lie in dread so often, bleed myself so often, lying dead so often. It all reminds me of how he'd leave me in our own head. Sounds like it's straight from his mouth. When I lie is when I feel so alive. I love to lie. It's like I have no remorse for the things that I say. He'd always lie about me. It'd always be easy for him, almost effortless for him, to make me feel like the bad guy, to make me look like the reason why everything in his life went south so fast. Yeah, no, I'm just tired and trying to get some sleep. I'm fine. I don't want you to worry. All right, yeah. I love you too. Good night. You're getting high again, aren't you? What? No, I'm just using it to help me sleep. But hey, if I get more than I bargained for, I get to have some fun before I nod off. Then what's the harm in that, right? You're a goddamn liar. Yeah, and you're still a dick. So hey, what's changed, am I right?
So why don't you lighten up and let us take some more, Red?
Yeah, that's all you care about, huh? Taking, lying.
Oh, poor Red. Don't be so jealous. After all, with everything you've done, it's the only thing left that'll make Mr. Helmet feel alive. I feel so good.
Those last few lyrics just perfectly convey that feeling. That slow building numbness you get after everything fades away and there's nothing left to hold on to in your own head. No such thing as happy endings. Damn right, Izzy. Damn right. The production for Numb is very abstract and melancholy. The distorted, swaying lead mixed with those distant, soft, howling keys that barely reach out at the end of each loop just creates this spinning, dizzying feeling. The drums are sparse and repetitive, barely holding together a foundational rhythm for all the other pieces to hold on to. It's this beautifully crafted sound that conveys this feeling like you're floating through the thick of a gray hour, flying past a dense, thick fog and through depressing, dark clouds, hanging your head, letting the rain hit your face. Goes wonderfully with the contents and delivery of the lyrics. Speaking of which, Numb goes even further with that theme of lost confidence, the feeling of trying to fill that void with constant dopamine from drugs, expensive taste, and excessive physical intimacy with random strangers. Never brings back that feeling you got when you were 100% sober though, and just had that natural confidence and charisma. Only pieces of it at best. Now, trying to go back to it just feels like going back to blissful ignorance. You do that shit, you'll just get hurt. Again. At least that's what it feels like. Lunchbox shows up in this track to provide some new jazz-adjacent melodic flows that really bring the track to another level in its midsection. I love the catchy, light vibe in his vocals, with the way his voice glides up and down through the melody, seamlessly transitioning from his fast-paced verses in his introduction and in between the peaks of his singing. It's this light that shines through the rest of the melodramatic aura the track elicits, which, to me, represents how much having other people around, especially other creative types, if you yourself are creative, can help momentarily pull you out of that slump you're stuck in, to sing with you and help make something beautiful out of the pain you've experienced. When it comes to 800, however, the lines are all delivered with this overwhelming sense of numbness and lifelessness. Don't take that as a negative, however. 800 is not a mumble rapper. It's done in a way that perfectly captures the aura and emotions without sacrificing a solid, memorable, catchy track. There's so many parts in here that get stuck in my head, like the chorus with that little God's plan type "tell my mama I'm sorry." It's like 800 doesn't even have the pride in the things he's mentioning. The only time you hear even a modicum of emotion come out is when he's talking about everyone switching up on him and needing to keep his guard up seemingly out of nowhere, or needing to tell his mom he's sorry about the cuts on his wrist. I know all about that shit too. A couple of my friends pointed out how in one of my videos and social media posts you can see my scars and how they hadn't fully faded yet. It might seem weird to bring that up, but I would feel even weirder running from it or pretending like it isn't there or just deleting the posts and videos. It's not like doing that shit is going to make them go away. I'm not proud of myself for doing it, and I don't want attention either. I remember there would be so many nights where I felt like my two options were either cut myself or get high. I just wanted to escape from everything for a second, escape all the yelling from the other guy in my head.
Do you want me to fucking do it again? Yell at me again. I'll make another line. I swear to God.
Fine. If you want to act crazy, I'll just shut up for good then.
Yeah, keep acting like you're not the reason this is happening. See where that gets us.
And now you're just gonna get high again. You're such a loser. Thought you said you would shut up for good.
That's whatever, though. 20 minutes, and you'll be gone again anyways.
Aside from the self-harm, yellow was the only thing that shut him up, kept him quiet, stopped me from feeling numb too. I felt like it taught me things, new ways of thinking. I feel so happy. I feel so good. I feel so good.
Yeah, right? Why were you even scared in the first place? Now you're trying to hang out with me every night.
The way I had this stuff described to me was like this. If your normal happiness is say is like a 7, you could take drugs and go up to a 9. Then you when you crash, you're at a 5. And then when you're normal, your new normal is like 6. And not 7 anymore, and then the cycle repeats like on this graph.
So crude, so simplistic.
What do you mean?
See what I mean?
Whoa, what? And then, well, after a while...
Sit back, I don't show remorse for a single thing I do. If I did, then I start looking like you, like a bitch. I think I see something wrong with this shit, wrong with this stick. Yeah, I'm the wrong one to piss off.
No Remorse has one of the most unorthodox instrumentals out of the entire album, which is really saying something considering some of the other offerings on this album. Unlike the more minimalist approach of the previous track, this instrumental is a lot darker and oppressive. It's a much more prominent component of the track. There's not really a traditional lead, so to speak, in this track. The closest thing to it is the droning, low-pitched, whining vocal samples. Sounds like a tribal cry or chant coating the entire soundscape. The hi-hats give the production this uneasy, ticking, slow winding and unwinding sensation, with the punchy bass, drums, and 808s just accentuating that dark, imposing atmosphere even further. The uneven scratch of the drip down to close out each loop just gives off the feeling of a bubbling primal anger scratching at the edge of a door to come out, something you tried to hide from yourself that you didn't even realize. The lyrics go hand in hand with that sensation the production elicits. The lyrics explore this idea of a new type of hate brewing in the deep inner reaches of your mind, a new lack of understanding, a lack of empathy. No remorse. The lyrics are delivered in this sharp, aggressive manner that cuts in deeper with every pump of the beat. It accentuates the emotions and the contents of the lyrics. The way the lines are just spat into your ears. The song achieves all of this while still maintaining that catchy melodic charm that Funeral always manages to bring to the table. The lines themselves too, man, brutal is an understatement. I don't show remorse for a single thing I do, and if I did, then I'd start looking like you, like a bitch, talking about taking in all the pain and shoving it back in its face, showing no remorse for the way you dispose of that hurt, even if it's on someone you used to care about. The first verse really reminds me of how I felt trying to convince Jackson to make better decisions for himself.
What would I say, what would I do? I don't give a fuck about myself, fuck about you too. Everything I say is a problem for you. I see if I wanted to die, probably I do. Yeah.
He never listened to the things I said to him or tried to do for us, so it came to the point where I just didn't care to keep going. I didn't care to keep pushing. I didn't care about either of us anymore. If everything I say is just such a problem for you and you want to die so bad, then maybe I do too.
Sit back, I don't show remorse for a single thing I do. If I did, then I start looking like you, like a bitch. I think I see something wrong with this shit, wrong with this stick. Yeah, I'm the wrong one to piss off. Stab myself and let the blood to my lips off. Look at me and then look down at my hips off. I wish I was joking. I can't talk 'cause I'm still joking.
And there's a part in this song, the refrain, that really embodies how he felt during the experience. It's one of the few times Funeral breaks out his usual high-pitched vocal mixing. It's like his artistic persona is the one talking. Fitting, you know, considering this lyric is the closest thing to something Jackson would say to me. Like this mocking tone, like he doesn't even care how much it would affect someone if he said it to them. How, if anything, he took pleasure in scaring people by saying or threatening absurd shit like that. The part that hurts the most is the last line of the refrain. Everything I wanted because of you, till I wake up and see that it ain't true. He'd always use that against me, that it was supposed to be us, that we were supposed to help each other. Whatever happened, dude?
Don't start. Don't even start.
We're supposed to be a team. You're supposed to help me.
Yeah, I know.
Then why are you still being such an asshole to me?
Because I already tried helping you, but everything flew in one ear and out the other. You never listen, and you never pay attention.
Don't say it.
And that's why you ruined all your relationships and got yourself humiliated for making that stupid show. Go on then, cry, slobber all over yourself. The tears don't fucking work on me anymore, dude! You did this to yourself!
After all the times he'd get me hurt,
forcing us to get high every night. After all the long days where he'd kick back while I did all the work for us at our job, dealing with people, wearing long sleeves to cover up our scars, I just became bitter. I got tired. I got angrier than I'd ever been, and I stopped caring about what I threw back at him. In a twisted way, I thought he deserved it. The only problem is that eventually he learned to love how much I hated it all.
I hate you, but I love that you hate me too.
Love to Hate You has a production that's equally as melodramatic, atmospheric, and dark as the prod for Numb. However, now there's this underlying new sensation that sparks some life into the instrumental. The bass, synths, and drums are more pronounced. They're more prominent, more powerful, with this crying vocal sample lining most of the track, with the main keys lightly grazing the soundscape. The sound conveys this feeling of trudging through, making hate and hurting your only motivator. Love to Hate is the theme here, and the lyrics carry that message too. Just listen to the chorus.
I hate you, but I love that you hate me too. I can't escape you, I do drugs because the pain is you. Way too paranoid, tell me why would I trust you? All the love I had for you, man, that she really ruined. Damn, I really gave you a chance and you blew that shit.
The lyrics pull slowly through each beat, that tugging of the vocals on your ear, especially at the peak of the chorus's first half. In just its delivery alone, it manages to convey this. Lines like, I love that you hate me too. I do drugs because the pain is too high. I need my pills to feel like myself. And ice on my wrist, cover up the wounds on that bitch. Cuts on my wrist, sorry, I can't help it. Losing your pride and your stability makes you turn to dark, oppressive places. Motivation off of hurt and persistent hate just makes you turn into something unrecognizable. A line that hits me particularly hard is, he was fake from the jump, damn, I should have known that shit. That might seem like a throwaway line, but for me, listening to this in conjunction with everything else in the song just reminds me of my own situation with you know who. At a certain point, I just learned to appreciate how much he despised me. I loved getting high even more knowing that he fucking hated it. I hated him so much that, at that point, I just loved watching the pain run through him.
Words can't describe how much I hate you.
You're always too retarded to figure out words anyway.
You're abusive.
That's rich coming from you.
You're abusing us, and you're destroying yourself.
I know. I could never escape him. He would always be a part of my mind no matter what I tried to do. But the best I could do is just keep fucking around with drugs, destroying myself almost every other night just to get away from the pain for a little bit.
I know when this calm down hits me, it's gonna be the worst thing ever. I'll feel so alone. You won't even talk to me. You'll force us out of bed for the millionth time. And I'll make you go to work for me. But I don't care. We'll just repeat the same routine. Go home later and I'll do another 300 milligrams. And I'll be right back where I am right now. Feeling like I'm on the moon. Only problem is, the more I do this, the less fuel I have to make the landing each time. And sometimes I wonder, what'll happen when I inevitably crash and burn on impact? And then again, I guess at this point, that wouldn't be the worst thing either.
Feel like I'm darking out. To my soul, it's in my life. It can scar me now. I'm inside, I'm in love. Is it got me now? That's enough, had enough. You can harm me now.
Darking Out goes nuts. The production is so on point. The lead chimes just really bring the whole atmosphere together without sacrificing the fast-paced and aggressive feel of the track, perfectly selling that dark, foreboding atmosphere with some faster-paced hi-hats and punchy 808s to set the foundation and maintain that illustrious fast tempo with choppy, distorted vocal samples that add to the dark and unnatural feel of the track. Feels just right coming off of No Remorse. The way the vocals work in conjunction with the production is really what makes this track stick
out as one of the best offerings from the album. The chorus is just so memorable, with an expertly crafted melody for both the main and post-chorus sections as always. And just like No Remorse, the feel and delivery of the lyrics perfectly conveys the feelings the lyrics are attempting to convey in their contents and context. It's this complete surrender.
Feel like I'm striking out. Take my soul, set my life, it can scar me now. I'm really sorry if I'm in love, is it got me now? That's enough, had enough, you get on me now. I'm really sorry if I'm in love.
The will to fight is just gone. Why keep trying? Why fight against it anymore? The pain isn't gonna stop. And why help the parts of yourself if you already hate them so much? You know, I know I can take it. I've taken the pain for this long. If I can't, then... oh, there's not much of a choice anyways. Just let it hurt me. Let everything wash over me. And hope to whatever higher power that everything happens painlessly in the end. It's like a late night drive watching all the scattered lights around you pass as you're slowly losing your mind. Letting all the intrusive thoughts get to you. As everything passes, you start to think, what if I slammed full force on the pedal? Just see how fast I can go before I crash and burn up. Just listening to the lines in the post-chorus, like I look into the abyss, feel like I'm lacking substance. I look at myself daily like who the fuck would want this? Or I'm alone, I'm abandoned, yeah, I'm the one who's done this. Perfectly conveys that surrender. Blaming it all on yourself, shutting off your connections, letting yourself drown. Who the fuck would want someone like you? Who'd even want to help you? You don't even want to help yourself. You don't even like yourself. The verse hits hardest for me though. Everything I say is a waste of time. And even if I do manage to make any semblance of progress, it just shoots back down whenever I'm alone in my own head, arguing with myself again, losing touch with reality, with my progress, my thoughts, my security, my roadmap to get back on track. It's like a giant undo button for all of that, and you can't get it back without starting all over again. Sin is definitely one of my lesser favorite tracks from the more abstract side of Fenrir. It's sorta in the same category of Numb for me. It's a solid track and there's a lot it does right. There's just a lot of other tracks on the album that I'd probably pick over this one if I ever wanted to revisit specific tracks. Now granted, I absolutely love everything on offer from both sides of Fenrir's sound. I genuinely still believe there's not a single track from this album I don't genuinely love or at the very least moderately enjoy. This track still pulls off the murky, dark undertones wonderfully. It's a little more melodic and upbeat than Numb, but it's not as high energy as Love to Hate You. It's sort of this middle ground between the two in terms of the production and lyrics. The production by Amir has a great buzzy main lead that really carries the whole project. The heavy bass and secondary leads work in conjunction with the peaks of the drum loops to accentuate the impact and create this pseudo-lingering echo after each major drum beat. The lyrics can leave something to be desired in some aspects. I definitely think this is one of the songs where the production carries more than the vocals, whereas usually when it's 800 and Amir, there's this sort of balance between the two. The chorus can get a little repetitive with the same flow repeating and overstaying its welcome a bit, but it doesn't stick around for too long, and the verses are so well done that it's easy to look past the shortcomings of the chorus. It feels lonely, dark, and sinister, but in a way that feels content, maybe cool even. It goes really well with the lyrics and their contents, perpetuating the general message of the song, I love to sin. Drug PSAs don't understand what real peer pressure is. They don't depict it well enough. Part of what keeps you there is the culture around it. Doing drugs is cool. It's what you hear in music. It's in the memes that you see on social media. When you tell other people you engage with drugs or copious amounts of sex, it's something a lot of people will sort of immediately respect you for. Sure, you loved doing it already. Not only that, but now you love talking about it. You love buying it. You love everything about the experience of being addicted. I remember I'd get a rush whenever I ordered something from my plug. Popping the first edible or packing the first blunt from the new order I just received was like this celebratory moment. Getting friends together for a smoke sesh or calling up pals on Discord just to show them how fucked up I was gave me this attitude and confidence.
that punk sort of I don't give a fuck energy. It felt good. Felt like I had control. I felt like I was cool. After being yelled at and belittled for so long by everyone, including myself, it just felt so good to have even just a slice of that. If anyone ever calls you out or tells you it's wrong, you can always just tell them they're a narc, that they just don't understand, or that they're a pussy. Just shut them down, reassure them that you're right, that it's just weed or whatever else. Tell everyone that you're completely in control while you're getting blasted every night, lying to your friends and people you care about. And whenever you're caught, just take a 2-week break in some hopeless attempt to convince everyone that you're in control. You're not, though. It has you in its palms. You can't let go of how good it makes you feel, no matter what substance it is, whether you're on it or just bragging about it. That's what it means to me. I love to sin. At a certain point, you don't even care about the negative sides of it anymore. You just learn to take it as a part of the experience.
I love doing this to us. I love making you feel so fucking guilty that you can't handle it. Let all of that wash over you. I hope you're drowning in it. I love making you cry. I even love the come-downs in the morning. I love how disgusting you feel throwing up what we had last night, crying over the toilet. You disgusting loser. You sick, disgusting monster. I'm the only good part left of us. I'm doing the only thing left that I know how to do. I'm killing us slowly.
14 grams reminds me of the worst parts of our drug addiction.
Bitch, I'ma sip cyanide till I die in this life. I'ma crash this fucking whip, yeah, we gon' all die tonight. In the dirt, in the mud, with the blood, light at night. Let these tears that I died for years cry tonight.
14 grams in the preceding track act as the climax of the album, so to speak. It's one of the most intense and heavy-hitting instrumentals on the album. The main loop in the rest of the instrumental is actually the same one from the beginning, just with a bunch of added distortion and effects, which gives it this electric guitar-esque sound. The drums are snappy and impactful too. It's this overwhelming chaos that floods your head, that gives you this uncontrollable rush, like you're stuck in a car with a broken maniac ready to swerve off the freeway. The way it goes from 0 to 100 at a moment's notice is just such a perfect touch. The instrumental is always either completely reeled in or firing on all cylinders, paired with the lyrics that sound like they're fighting to share the same space occupied by the snapping drums, hi-hats, and distorted instruments. Those lyrics are so sharp and oppressive too, considering the fact that it mostly relies on its verses and doesn't have a traditional chorus to carry the song structure, which adds even more to the chaotic feel, because you almost never know what you're going to get from the track upon your first listen. The verses are just so heavy-hitting and perfectly paced in their delivery. This song is what it feels like fighting through an insane trip when nothing feels good anymore. Everything you hate about yourself is just being brought down on your chest, crushing you to the point where you can't even breathe. All the lies you told yourself during the day, every intrusive evil thought you ever had to hear, repeated in your head, all the stupid mistakes you're so guilty of. You just stay silent, taking all that pain that your body and mind are giving you. And you always fall asleep when you talk, so you don't say what you really think.
Voodoo is a bit of a switch up from the previous tracks. It's a lot more upbeat in comparison to everything in the album prior.
Hey, those are my lines.
Yeah. You want to keep sitting there and letting all that guilt get to you, or do you want to come up here and have some fun? You promised Nora you'd keep doing this, that you wouldn't give up no matter what. You said you weren't afraid of anything anymore. But where's that Jackson now?
I don't know how much worse it was gonna get. This is all so embarrassing.
Hey, you know what you're doing, kid?
What? Sitting around, oversharing about my problems, just like I always do?
But no! You're taking your experiences and putting them into art. It's It's what all the best people in these industries do. It's what this artist is doing right now in this album.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, listen to the lyrics you're describing.
What do you mean?
Self-harm, the drugs, all the emotion, the hate, that all had to come from somewhere, right?
I guess so, but that's different.
How is that different?
He put all that back in with something.
And you're not doing the same thing right now?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about something someone else did. He doesn't have all that embarrassing stuff spread all over the internet. He's not writhing with embarrassment over the things he's been through.
Who's to say he's not?
Because I don't know, he's 800 points, you know? I just fucked your bitch, shit, my bad. I spend my money, don't save it, bitch. Like, who the fuck am I?
Are you kidding me? You're bombers. Listen, everyone has stuff they're ashamed of. Every fruit gets a soft spot the more they stick around. That's just a part of it. So why be ashamed of yours?
Alright, you got me.
Microphone's waiting for you out there, dude. Go be bombers.
Yeah. Okay. Voodoo is a bit of a switch up from the previous tracks. It's a lot more upbeat in comparison to everything in the album prior. It's just like 800 says in the lyrics. You can tell who on the beat by how it's bouncing. The main lead in the chorus that swings in and out perfectly in conjunction with the steady ticking hi-hats and claps. And the secondary leads keep the tempo when the instrumental needs to pull back. That piano is a great piece to line the track with. Goes really great with the drums and the secondary synth that plays during the verses and the second half of the chorus. Definitely one of my top favorite Amir beats from the entire album. Do I even need to mention the vocals at this point? It's 800 and Amir. I mean, come on. The confidence, the flows, the cadence, on point and iconic as always. Who could forget lines like, they watch me just like it's YouTube, or she wanna suck my dick. I'm like, cool, boo. They're just as silly and unpredictable as they are confident and charismatic. The 800 we know from his singles and EPs is finally here. The abrasive, no fucks giving, bag chasing, goth underground rap machine is finally here to kick some ass and show everyone who's really on top. It reminds me of that feeling of mania when you finally find something that pumps the confidence back into your system, that sudden shift back into high gear. It's like, damn, why'd I even get so dramatic? I'm him, bro.
Haha, yup, that's right, bombers. For me, though, my only complaint is that the song is a little short-lived. Kinda ends abruptly with that break-off echo, and you're just sitting there like, man, where'd all the good times go?
What is this?
Oh, don't play dumb, kid. You know exactly what this is. Didn't you miss me?
Jackson, snap out of it!
Nobody needs to snap out of anything, old man. So why don't you keep that gaping void shut? Plus, I'm only borrowing him.
Hello, Greed.
Aw, and here I thought I was giving the audience a nice surprise. Bravo, Mr. Swirly. What gave me
I
away?
was prepared for this to happen ever since I gave him that remnants of you.
Oh, so this is your fault. That makes it even better. It's a shame. You probably thought this one had a stronger will.
Oh, well, you never know with this one. Be careful. It might surprise you.
That's so? Well, that'll make this game a little more interesting. Taking just isn't as fun without a little challenge. Makes the payoff that much more sweet.
What are you playing at?
The same thing you are! You brought his confidence back. You sparked his memories of me. So naturally, I want to return the favor. I'll take over for a bit. Show him some stuff. You can sit back and rest those old bones while I do your job for you.
Thanks, but I'm an old-fashioned workplace kind of guy. I like doing this stuff solo. This is a one-on-one safe space. So why don't you just hand him back over?
Oh, I will! Just in time! Tisk tisk! Oh, he's so demanding. If the kid plays his cards right, he'll be back in no time.
one of the most abrasive instrumentals on the album. I'm not the biggest fan of the dubstep elements in the song, but that's more personal preference than anything else. I still like the melody for the main lead that plays during the chorus. Besides, I think the abrasive rave-like nature of the beat is the point. The drums are just kicks, claps, and maybe a few ticking hi-hats to line the back of the track's soundscape, but you barely notice them. You're naturally forced to take in the grimy cutting and pulsing synths that slice into your ears. It plays perfectly into the central theme and subject matter for me. Cope. That feeling of forcing yourself through the trauma and the forthcoming seemingly everlasting aftermath, knowing it really won't ever be all over. You feel the pain in every inch of your body, every muscle, every stretch of skin tissue, every organ that comprises your anatomy is screaming on the inside. It's everywhere. The lyrics are so on spot with conveying that feeling of brute forcing your way through keeping yourself alive. Just check the chorus.
Fuck COVID, I just wake up hoping I'm bad. Still alone, and I know that he's not in my head. Just let me go, let me know who we are in the end. Living slow on my own, is it hard to...
So many people, when you tell them you're going through serious shit, they just tell you, oh well, just remember that it's all in your head. Like, duh, what else would it be? You think I don't know that? It's my head. I'm the only one who's in here, and I'm going insane. All advice like that ever does is just remind me of how sick I am and how much it sucks. The way the lyrics are just spat out in each and every vignette of this piece drives home that internal aggression. My favorite part has to be these verses right here.
I've been killing myself in the inside. I'm so sick of this shit like for real life. If I finish it here, you still mine. You still mine, am I still yours? In my time, we shipping like real short. The color this bitch, see a real hard. Look at my heart and it's still dark.
This is exactly how I felt arguing with myself every day. I want to keep this kid in me alive. This kid who loves sharing his passion and heart with the world. Who likes to dress up in an astronaut helmet and a white t-shirt with his symbol on it and talk about video games. I really wanted things to get better between both of us. But every time it felt like we were finally getting somewhere, everything would be reset. He'd make another dumb mistake and it would just be another fight with us. All he ever wanted to do was stop my yelling at that point, though. That's why he slipped us into that self-destructive lifestyle.
Lifestyle was the track 800 points dropped prior to the release of Fenrir to tease the album and give people a taste of the sound and general vibe. I feel like the placement is a little odd. I feel like this track would fit much more coming off of Sin to provide a more thorough progression from the darker, more unorthodox / experimental first half of the album to the more traditional second half of the tape, which is much more in line with 800 points' signature style in his latest singles and previous EPs. It'd be especially perfect with that intro. There's something in the water. I feel it taking over me. It started getting harder to breathe. Regardless, it's this interesting middle ground between the two mediums, which makes it a perfect track for the midway point of the album. Martyr returns from trust issues to deliver a similar unsettling, offbeat instrumental. Those slightly offbeat, plucking, distorted strings make a return, along with the scattering drip-down hi-hats, not to mention the swirling, distorted synth, coating the soundscape with this dizzying, dark, and otherworldly sensation. The heavy, grungy bass gives this production a more lively kick to it, as opposed to the more lost and scattered feel of trust issues. The sound provides this feeling of a lifestyle that's overtaking you, that's consuming you, controlling your mind, puppeteering you, yet you love every second of it. The curse that's overcoming you, you're absolutely absorbed by it. You have a newfound confidence, a new lack of worry for what others may perceive of you. This lifestyle, I love it. The lyrics play perfectly into this sensation, and the flows all have this life to them, this confidence, this rhythm. They fade into each other so naturally. The chorus is so infectious, it's alluring. The melody just gets stuck in your head. My favorite part has to be this section at 57 seconds in. Just listen to this flow.
Bitches murder season. wipe his nose, the chopper sneezing. Tell that bitch, I don't need you. Say you bout it, I don't see it. In the hill, can't get it seasick. That bitch dirty, I can't beat it. Fuck on here, dog, I don't need shit. For this bitch, I know that he's sick. This lifestyle, I love it.
It's such a catchy, essential part of the album, and it was the perfect way to tease the album prior to its release. Listening to this track within the confines of Fenrir just adds to it. It just hits differently after working through the first half of the tape, as opposed to listening to it on its own as a single. It just exemplifies this shift, this idea that maybe it's right to give in, maybe it's right to let this thing take over you, to spoil your ego.
Yeah, maybe it is!
No, this doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Well, I thought you were just in my memories.
Come on, kid, quit playing. I'm much more than just a memory. Don't you remember? I became a part of you too. Tisk tisk, always so skeptical. I might not be here all the time, but once you think about me, once you start thinking about the good times we've had, I would always come right back around.
I don't trust you.
What was that?
I said I don't trust you. Where's Gray?
Don't worry about him. Just keep talking about your music. It's just me and you in your own head now. Not a single distraction to worry about. No intrusive thoughts, no running off script, no invasive memories. Isn't this what you want?
I guess I don't have a choice.
Is it too late for me to understand?
The thought of you haunts me as such an impactful mid-piece for the project. It's a slower, somber piece that's wholly reliant on its painful vocals and sparse, organic instrumentation. The background vocals, the instruments, the lead vocals, everything has this echo to it that accentuates this sense of empty space, solemnly hallowing in an empty void of nothingness, where all you can hear is the echoing of your own painful thoughts, reminders of what you've lost reverberating back to your ears. Speaking of which, these lyrics just break me in a way I can't fully describe. This just perfectly conveys the pain of not fully realizing or appreciating what you have until it's gone, ripped away from you at a moment's notice. Or perhaps, maybe it was slowly dissipating this whole time. You were just too stupid and ignorant to realize it. I remember now what it felt like losing that connection with someone I cared about. Even if it was internal, even if it was in my own head, it still hit me like a truck. Sometimes I feel like all I ever did was make us feel like a problem that needed to be fixed. These lines also reminded me of how much we pushed away others during this time. If you're not right in your own head, if you can't even love yourself properly, then how could you possibly be good enough for other people? What's the point of even trying? This point in the album just fully represents the snap that happens in depressive states, where every ounce of energy, every drop of hope, every morsel of determination to pull through just dissipates. All that's left is numbness. And this trend follows suit with the next track as well. So Upset follows the aftermath of that aforementioned snap, and the thought of you haunts me. The production is extremely minimalist, the least instrumentally dense production of the entire album. It's just the drums and barely audible backing vocal samples. The vocals carry a lot of the legwork on this one. They deliver the melodies that carry the entire track. It's like how it feels when your internal states is giving you nothing strong enough to build off of, so you're just left to handle all the work by yourself. Reminds me of when I just tried to cope by accepting nothingness, trying to become numb. No matter what good thing happens, feels like you're always still not completely happy or okay. I was still always anxious or upset. He was too, just better at hiding it. So I just learned to not expect anything anymore. That way, I can't get disappointed when something happens. And there's no outcome where I actually feel better internally. Even if something gives way and provides a short burst of mania or a brief release, it still doesn't change the long term. Eventually, that doesn't work either though. This chorus just perfectly displays hopelessness. The constant apologizing really drives it home. I thought I could change us. I thought I could make things work, create something stable for my long term. But everything always wound up getting worse. My fault, I guess. Every line in this song just perfectly brings that saddening numbness to the forefront. That feeling that nothing is ever gonna change. You'll always feel out of place with others or even just in your own head. Always a problem to fix. Always feeling like you need something external to rope you back into wanting to exist. And feeling like those cravings are catching up to you, trying to turn you into something you aren't. But hey, who could blame you at this point?
What is up, Trouble Alert Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.
Yeah, this bitch think I never see a retard.
Keemstar is a pretty fun penultimate track for the album. Wild ass title too. This production from Aruni isn't necessarily my favorite from the album, but it still sticks out in my head. I really love that fat mono lead analog synth, along with the light bells that coat the back reaches of the instrumental, with a steady creeping organ in the background for good measure. The drums also have this light, airy feel to them. They're not always as sharp and direct as some of the other productions from this album. The bass and 808 really do most of the work in providing a more punchy aspect to the backing track, which I really like. It all provides some nice variety to this production. Lyrics for this one are just off the wall. The chorus is so abrasive. If you want some drama, bitch, I'm Keemstar. This bitch think I love her, she a retard? Like, holy shit. It's just a showcase of how far gone 800 is from caring about what others think of him. How little the hate from subsections of his audience affects him. That line, if you want some drama, then bitch, I'm Keemstar, is this perfectly crafted mockery of anyone who thinks they can come at him with clout-chasing bullshit. The verses work with this theme too, talking proudly about threatening others and the expensive taste. It's still all a shield, however. There's still paranoia under the surface. Lines about needing to look over his shoulder, lines about being paranoid, thinking he might die. It's almost immediately covered up with lines about substance use and more threats of violence. The cracks are still there, but they're more concealed, covered up, kept internal, only spilling back out in rare intervals and swiftly swept back up by the confident aura of the track. It's a perfect penultimate piece that shows the last few glimpses of vulnerability and inner turmoil before the tape's final track.
Well, hey, maybe that's a good thing.
How is that a good thing? How is hiding your soft spot a good thing?
Protection? Confidence? Reassurance? Don't you remember any of our little conversations? You would always be so worried. You would always be so unsure of yourself, questioning every little thing you ever did, because of that nagging little voice in the back of your head that you made up. You prayed to God for confidence. Screaming, kicking, crying, cutting yourself. I gave you that. I gave you a piece of me. Don't you remember, child?
I remember scaring everyone, calling people while I was under the influence, recording videos when I was baked so hard I couldn't even feel my face. It made me feel like it was just everything else in the world that was wrong, instead of just me. I was just selfish, though. I was tricking myself, basically editing together a version of my life where I was the victim.
Stop talking like Gray. You're gonna make me sick. You're not like him. Stop trying to convince yourself that you're anything more than everyone else. You're selfish, just like the rest of us. Just like me. That's why we worked so well together. Then, the funniest part? When you finally had that confidence, when you finally started to not care what others thought because of me, they abandoned you. Even that other part of yourself.
Yeah, because I became selfish. Because I became a bad person. I stopped caring.
No. You finally got your confidence. And the world, in return, took those things from you. Think about it. You were finally starting to move on. Starting to accept yourself. You almost felt whole again. And then that one guy outed you in front of everyone. And everything came crashing down again. And all you had left was me. Hey, when you put it like that, it's like I saved you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who's right anymore. Yeah? What's that supposed to mean? I'm just done.
Like, either way, I'm so tired of screaming.
Yeah, me too.
It's not like it's ever going to get you anymore either. I think this should really be it. Like, for real this time. You're not gonna say anything, are you?
Like you said, it's not as if that'd get us anywhere. At this point, at least.
Well then, that makes this easier on me. I guess this is goodbye. Or maybe it's not goodbye. I guess if I want, I could just say Anti never existed to begin with. I'm just all alone. I always have been. I've always just been talking to myself. My mistake, I guess.
My friend's taking a long time. 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 Let me stay like you in my mind again. Let me stay like you in my side again. Let me stay like you in my mind again. Let me stay like you in my side again.
Disoriented is a personal favorite, I can't deny. I think it's on its way to becoming a bit of a comfort song for me, along with the song following this one. The instrumental is so otherworldly. The inverted leads create this rising feeling that's uneasy yet oddly empowering and lifting. Like this ball and chain is tugging you to the bottom of the ocean, yet the rust finally makes the lock loosen its grip, and you start to float up towards the surface again for the first time in forever. The low vocal samples that cry and whine strain themselves through the back of the soundscape for the entire duration, a constant reminder of the pain, even if you're about to stop drowning. The drums are sparse, heavily relying on the cymbal break-offs after each hi-hat tick, not to mention the high-pitched wailing sounds in the background that could be cries or police sirens blaring, trying to reach the scene of a suicide jumper before he finally makes the leap. That feeling is just ingrained in every corner, every groove, every note of this track. That feeling of looking over a cliff into the abyss and thinking, should I? This opener just reminded me of how he'd talk to me when it got close to the end. He'd call me a waste of time, that it was a mistake ever listening to me, that I only ever wasted his life and held him down when all I ever tried to do was help. All I ever wanted for us was the best. That's why we worked the way we did in the first place, when I started to become real in his head. The chorus just reminds me so much of how we'd argue together. It sounds like something coming straight from Jackson's mouth. In all honesty, mine too. He'd always go on about how he wanted to end things, how he was tired of people doubting us, tired of me doubting him, not taking what he said seriously. I really thought the kid didn't have it in him to kill us, but I guess look where I am now. He tried to get rid of me on multiple occasions, and I'd tell him to go on without me if he really thought he could. Living in his stupid fantasy land, smoking weed and making YouTube videos in his parents' attic until he dies in that pathetic helmet. That he'd live with guilt forever and drown me without giving it a second thought. Trying to throw me under the bus, blaming me for everything bad that ever happened to us, and I guess I got sick of it too finally. At a certain point, I realized the only thing that would make him learn, the only thing that would get through his dumb helmet and thick skull, was to truly leave him on his own.
My friend's taking a long time. 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 Let me stay like you in my mind again. Let me stay like you in my side again. Let me stay like you in my mind again. Let me stay like you in my side.
Federal is quite the high note to end off on. This devious, twangy prod by OK Pablo and Spill just immediately establishes such an iconic, dark yet playful atmosphere that encompasses that vibe of self-confidence and self-aggrandizing perfectly. That main horn melody is just such a great centerpiece to base the entire track around. It's as silly as it is confident and foreboding, being prominent through most of the track's runtime. The drums and dark, grimy bass carry the same sounds as before with tracks like Lifestyle and Trust Issues, but now it's more steady, more controlled. That's the theme here. Control. Total control over the view of yourself, isolation of others trying to bring you down with criticism or inquiries about your soft spots you now conceal. Control over who's in your circle, control of who pleasures you and when, not to mention finally using that talent as leverage for financial gain, a talent you might have been laughed at for in the past. 800 says, you want a feature? Pay me and I'll work. You want to fuck? Let's see if we can fit it in the schedule. The always great vocal work from 800 pulls off this attitude and vibe perfectly. You know just by listening to how his vocals swing and dip around the instrumental, how he goes from flow to flow, the way he nails that chorus, the confidence in those intro ad-libs. It's a complete package to send the album off with. Upon a first listen, Federal might not seem like an appropriate outro for the project. However, if you think about the context of all the subject matter that this album has been building up to at this point, I really couldn't think of something more fitting. Federal is the most traditional sounding 800-point song on the album. It's the least experimental in terms of his style and sound. This wouldn't sound out of place among singles like Friends or Balenci. I don't know about you, but that to me, that seems pretty intentional. The entire album up to this point, at least in terms of my own personal interpretation of its narrative, has perpetuated the idea of this character who's built up a shield of brash confidence after a bout with serious trauma. This is the final stage of that process, shutting yourself out and locking yourself away from the world out of fear of getting hurt again.
See? Don't you get it now?
Except that's not the way to go about things. That's not how you want to end things. That's not the last piece of yourself you want out there before you disappear. As much as I like this final song, I think it's ultimately a bad end for the narrative. It's overconfidence. It's shutting off everyone and cutting off avenues for genuine compassion and human connections with others.
Why are you being so difficult? So dramatic for what? You know, you used to not be like this. You and I, we used to be so fun together. What happened to that? You got all lame, hanging out in a cottage in the woods with some old gray fart.
I don't know. I guess I finally got grown.
Well, that's no good. Like I told you, being grown is boring.
Is it though?
I think I know what'll change your mind. I want to show you something.
Hey, wait, what are you doing?
Open them peepers, kiddo!
What is this place?
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, ain't it?
Is this hell?
Bingo!
You took me to hell?
Oh, relax, you drama queen. You're not really here. You're all, translucent and impervious. You're like, whatchamacallit, astral projecty and junk.
Why'd you take me here?
Same reason I ever took you anywhere. I want to show you something. Come on, this way, partner.
Partner?
Here we are!
Anti?
Yep, that's right! Look at him.
What's he doing?
Sitting, stuck trapped in a little cave in hell. Listen to what he's saying.
track on the album, opening up with that swooping bass we saw in Fell in Love with a Ghost, along with a distant melodic female vocal sample. It creates this immediate sense of hopelessness and dissonance.
He's doing a review?
Yeah, that's right! He's trying his best just to be you. How pathetic!
Why are you showing me this?
Isn't it obvious? This is all you've ever wanted. He's always run his mouth. You can't do this without me. You always crawl back to me. Now look at him. He's nothing without you.
I don't know. He seems to be doing pretty fine without me. That script has some pretty good cadence, and he's got some strong articulation. Maybe he didn't need me for any of this stuff after all.
It immediately sparks memories in my head of what it was like being distant from him. It hurt more than anything I could have ever imagined. Hurts even more using this script to talk like him. I couldn't even write like this on my own. I had to cheat using a sacrifice ritual.
You hear that, kid? He had to cheat his way towards making something you would have thrown together in an afternoon.
He's trying to pretend to be like me to trick my friends.
Exactly! He's just proving your point now! Acting like the monster you always wrote him as. How tragic! Boo-hoo! Sad face! Thumbs down!
The production carries this feeling of longing so intensely. The way the light singing vocal samples back the lead vocals, along with how the oppressive booming synth leads sweep through the track, coating the entire soundscape with this overwhelming dread and solemn atmosphere. The hi-hats lining the instrumental melodies in this scattered manner.
Damn, I wish I was actually here to tell him how good his delivery is. It's not just the script, his cadence is on point.
Why are you complimenting him? Aren't you supposed to hate this guy? He's literally cloning your style, trying to snake your friends.
Hey look, I can objectively see quality despite my perceived biases. And that's called being a good critic.
Fair enough, I guess.
As always, the lyrics drive this feeling home, not only in their contents, but also in the way the melodies are delivered. It's this pained, emotional, and strained singing. The vocal mixing just creates this intense pulling sensation. The way the track is doubled just accentuates the rasp and strain in each note. It perfectly conveys this sense of loss, the feeling of living in a mistake that you've made, that has implications that will span the rest of your life. That overwhelming, drowning feeling of losing the only person who you felt truly understood you. I remember now what that feels like too.
He's talking about me, isn't he?
Aw, you hear that? He misses you.
Does he really feel that way?
Well, he should have thought about that sooner. That's all I'm saying.
That's what makes the lyrics hit so close to home for me. Listening to some of these lines, it's like living through all of it all over again. All the other songs in this album remind me of how I felt during the whole ordeal, but this reminds me of how he felt after I abandoned him. After I caved in and left him out on his own. Reminds me of the guilt I felt.
Ah, perfection! Schadenfreude, my friend! Isn't it just great seeing him squirm?
I can't even fully describe without delving into the contents of the lyrics themselves. The refrain alone coats the track's introduction with the sense that everything has only been getting worse. I was silently watching as every night passed. He'd put that junk in his body every single night just so he wouldn't feel alone. Started calling people while he was under the influence, recording videos while he was baked out of his mind, bragging about it with people to boost his confidence. All it ever did was push people away. Eventually, the rest of his little group cut contact with him. They told him not to get back in contact until he figured everything out and got himself in working order. The verse conveys that sense of losing yourself to a T, telling yourself to pull through it, telling yourself to endure it all without the thing that got you through all of it before. There's always still the reminder that you can just end it all so easily, that you can just make that one choice, make a permanent solution for that temporary problem. Every night your mind jumps to it, and every time things keep getting worse, and the light at the end of the tunnel closes more and more, everything matters less and less to you, not knowing what's wrong with you in your own head, always feeling alone, trapped in your own house. It's okay, I know it's not. It's okay, just let me die. And then the chorus, where everything hits you all at once.
I've been losing myself every night that I dream of you. I can't keep moving on. I've been losing myself to the knife that I cut myself with every night. It's selfish, I know, 'cause I know, 'cause I know, 'cause I know, I've been killing myself every night.
I do know, I do. I I wish so many times that I could just say sorry. I wish so many times I could just tell him that I did understand. I wish he would have listened to me when I told him all I was ever trying to do was help. I never misunderstood what he was going through. All I ever wanted was for him to stop destroying himself. I wish he was here so I could tell him that. I know how difficult being in his head can be because I was there too. No matter what we did, there were always arguments. No matter what we tried, we still always had problems. It was never enough. Never enough. Never would be enough to change what goes on in our head.
He does understand.
And one night, he talked to me again for the last time. He told me that he was thinking about ending things the next day. He didn't ask me to stop him. He didn't ask me to convince him otherwise. All he wanted me to do was help him buy painkillers. And that night, I helped him take them. This is all my fault. This is all my fault.
No! It's not your fault! It's not your fault, it's mine! No, please!
Ah! What is wrong with you? You two are supposed to hate each other!
Why?
Why? What the hell do you mean, why? Look at everything he's done to you! He might as well be the reason you're dead!
No, he's not!
Oh yeah? Well, who is then, huh, smart guy? Oh no, you can't be serious! All I ever did was make you feel good! I gave you everything!
Take some more.
What?
I get it now. Take some more. Take some more. That's all you've ever done! That's all you ever done is take!
Well.
Get out of my head.
Aw, what's this now? Can't hear you over all the noise! You what? You can't hurt me, you imbecile! I am validation! I am the super ego! I am greed! No matter what you do, no matter how hard you fight, I will always be here! You will always be stuck with me! I will always be in your head! Why are you so stubborn? Why do you care so much about that loser? Why do you want to go back to that cottage? If you let me take over, think about what we could have. The entire afterlife, the world could have been to our will! And you threw that all away! And for what? A good noodle star? Brownie points?
You gave me nothing! You used me!
Are you kidding me? If anything, you used me! I gave you everything you wanted! I made your worries go away! When I was around, I made Red leave you alone! I ate him alive! I gave you confidence, happiness, something to flaunt in everyone's face! I could do even more than that! Get you anything! Money, fame, power beyond your wildest dreams! I gave you so much! You didn't need to care about anything aside from us!
I don't want that! I want to care!
You realize you're fighting me just so you can always be weak, right? I guess you're just okay with that. I guess you're okay with being weak. I guess you're just fine with always being nothing! Always feeling like nothing! Always having panic attacks when you're alone! Always fighting in your own head with that nagging voice! You're gonna feel like this forever! You really want that?
I won't let you win!
Wow. I'm almost impressed. How do you keep doing that?
You gotta keep getting knocked back down to keep getting back up. The only way you keep getting knocked down is if you're weak.
Wow! What a pathetic retort! So you just admit it?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep hurting you. You do realize that, right?
Okay.
Okay? Okay? No, you don't get it, do you? You're gonna get up, I'm gonna hit you, you're gonna fall down, and you're gonna get up, I'm gonna hit you, you're gonna fall down again! Forever! You're stuck here with me! I can do this dance with you until time itself burns away!
I guess you're stuck here with me too, huh? Stuck in here with an insane, weak, stubborn loser for the rest of your days. Ain't that right, Yellow?
Will you shut your mouth and suffer already?
Well, I am. I'm just gonna keep making you watch. To everyone who was there for me before I took my life, I know I've been extremely impulsive and inconsiderate lately. I've had a severe lack of control over my own emotions for the past few months. It's had an unimaginable negative effect on people who love and care for me, as well as my own happiness and mental well-being. I constantly promise to change for the better and still consistently make the same mistakes. I used my self-loathing as a tool to manipulate people into thinking they owed me sympathy, a desperate attempt to keep myself the hero of my own story. So I'm indecisive of whether or not an apology is even appropriate or meaningful at this point. So to anyone who hears this, anyone who I've hurt, manipulated, lied to, pushed away, blamed for my problems, I'm unimaginably sorry. I'm not leaving to hurt any of you. I'm leaving because I don't want to hurt another solitary person. I don't blame anyone who takes solace in this decision. Thank you for at least trying. For now, though, this is goodbye. I'll be off somewhere else.
You bore me, kid.
You give up yet?
Give up? What do I look like to you? After all of this is beneath me. You're beneath me. I have better things to do than waste my time on such a pathetic soul.
Yeah. Whatever way you want to put it, man.
Well, congratulations, Gray. Your little butt buddy was so boring and pathetic, he managed to weasel his way out of my little game. So you can have him back now. Bye-bye.
Wake up. Come on, kid, wake up. This better not be another one of your sick games, Greed. Jackson, wake up!
5 more minutes. I don't want to go to school.
Oh, thank God.
What was all that?
Greed tried to take your soul, I guess.
Yeah, sounds about right.
What happened in there?
A lot. And honestly, I'm still processing all of it. I'll tell you in a second, but in the meantime, I guess I gotta close this thing out now, huh? I guess it's time to wrap this up now, huh? Remorse is an album that perfectly encapsulates the drowning feeling of mental anguish. Funeral did an exceptional job taking his pain from his bout with seasonal depression and injecting it back into something. In conclusion, Fenrir is a breakout project from 800 Points that expertly details the path from insecurity to the danger of overconfidence and substance abuse. This project that I didn't expect to heavily resonate with as much as I did, but nonetheless, it still left a lasting impact on me. It brought me back to a similar time in my life. A time where I felt myself losing hope, drowning in the back of our own mind, losing myself. A time where I thought something harmful, something that only took from me, was giving me everything I needed. A time where I hurt the person I should have cared for the most. Myself. Anti-bombers. I'm sorry for all I've done. I'm sorry I held us back. I'm sorry I took pleasure in hurting you. I'm sorry I always acted self-destructive so I could play the victim. I'm sorry I was so harsh on us. I'm sorry I was never more patient with you. I'm sorry I kept you from doing the things that made you feel happy and fulfilled. I promise that no matter how it happens, and whether you like how I do it or not, at the end of all of this, I will save you.